Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to the NTT Indycar Open Series here at beautiful Richmond Raceway here at Richmond, Virginia. I'm Austin. I am joined by Marco Barbadera, and we're here for a great afternoon of racing.
We absolutely are. Hello, Austin. Hello, everyone, and welcome. Yeah, we are here at one of my favorite racetracks, if not my favorite, together with Iowa. Two tracks that are similar, very, very similar, but differ slightly. Of course, the big talking point here in Richmond, the fact that the backstretch is so much narrower than the one in Iowa, especially with you have a little bit more breathing room in Iowa, so we can expect a lot of carnage, a lot of close racing. I have a question for you. This track, as well as Iowa, do you think it is the world's largest short track or the world's smallest super speedway?
Oh my goodness, that's a hard question right there. I believe this is the world's largest short track, I must say. I don't see this racetrack as a short track, honestly, because when you race it, you feel like it is a regular speedway, but it's only 0.7 miles long. But Iowa is faster than this track right here because Richmond, it's got that long back straight, but the back straight is just so sudden, and these turns are just so different that setting up a car and keeping it in control is something you have to be all over and on point with. And we're seeing with a few of these drivers, the times are very close and some are very far away.
We are well, there are some drivers that love this kind of racetrack, and some drivers that hate this kind of racetrack. Of course, today we are racing into the night, as you can see from the sky just above this track. We will be racing into the sunset and well into the night, so of course the track will get cooler as the night goes on. Thank you very much for joining us. We see some familiar names both in the chat and in the race, and some new names, of course, also. Some legendary names already in the session. But before we go racing, Austin, time to take it through the grid.
Yeah, you're going to see some, like you said, some people did not like this race and racetrack. So there are some names that are actually missing from this grid that are come to know and love and actually like these guys. But starting up on pole, it's Tim Doyle, followed up by Hugo Olsen, Simon Bryant, Clark Archer, Laura Gerhart, Neil McBride, Oliver Berra, Adrian Burns, Matt Halle, Paul Morgan, Michael Gannon, Aaron Rufus in P12, followed up by Mark J. Edmonds, Chris Taylor, Paul Ferrer, Chad Henderson, Anthony Orbotha, Jeremy Boucher, Christian Steele, who unfortunately crashed in qualifying, and the rest of the qualifiers are Rouse Gunn, Robert Plumley, Fred Fonseca, Ken Suzuka, and Kevin Rory. And at last, a new late entry. I didn't actually see this guy qualify or register, but it's Franz Van Migelen in 25th spot. But yeah, there are
Exactly.
some
Yeah.
legendary names here. Tim Doyle. If you are not an IndyCar fan on iRacing or are new to this, Tim is a legend, basically.
There is Tim Doyle, of course. Of course, great to have our other regulars back. And another name we should not look past, despite his crash in qualifying, Christian Steele, one of the legendary names in IndyCar on iRacing. He will be a guy to keep an eye on. Austin, he starts all the way back in 19, and of course we know on this track it's so easy to get involved in other people's mistakes, and there is not a lot of room to escape in that backstretch as we are rolling here at Richmond. And now you will see, especially when we come out of turn 2, how narrow the track is. So if a car spins in Iowa, you can expect the car to go into the inside wall and most of the times stay there. But if you look at here, look at the left side, basically there is no escape road. You bounce there on that wall, more often than not you are back into the middle of the track. And of course, if we get a green flag run, which I hope we get, lap traffic will become a big part, and you will be able to follow the drivers on the minimap on the right side of your screen.
Yeah, the minimap will resize it so y'all can see it without it taking too much of the screen. But like you said, the back straight, it actually closes in on the driver. It's wider at the entrance, but narrower at the exit. And we can get another look at that back straight as we go into our final pace lap. The lights on the pace car are off. Laps around here take about 15 seconds average. And in this 160 lap race, Cameron Steele said it would last about 2 hours depending on cautions. And that was a true statement earlier this week if you raced in those races. But as they come down the back stretch, Tim Doyle is leading out Hugo Olsen and the rest of the field as we're about to go green here in Virginia. Pace car is off. It's on Tim Doyle's, and he pushes the throttle down, and away we go racing for the IndyCar race here at Richmond. And already great start by Simon Bryant, jumping Hugo Olsen down onto the inside. Hugo, keep that wide yellow cars. They're already going 2 wide and almost 3 wide, heading into the second turn.
Fantastic to see the flash from the spectators there with their cameras. I absolutely love this effect that is particularly noticeable at night, as we have already some side-by-side fighting here between Olipo and Barrera.
The field's already spreading out, and there's already a gap, but we have a caution. That is Rao's gun in the wall outside of turn 3. Also, Ken Suzuka in the middle of the track on the back straight.
We're entering turn 1 and 2. Let's see the yellow line, I think. Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
and
unlucky there.
Up. Very unlucky for Ken, who's actually ended up on his roof. When he's got back over, but you can see how he actually avoided the wall. But let's ride on board with Ken. Saw the car spinning and just try to avoid it going around the outside. It's very dangerous trying to avoid a wreck here. That is unfortunate, but the first caution of the night. And we have 22 unscathed cars on track. Biggest restart so far, Christian Steele, up 4 spots already. He's in 15th.
Oh, yes, Steele, of course. Well, let's see. I think we will have... The thing here, caution laps are very short, so cautions go by, thankfully, very quickly, but let's see the start of the race, because we still have 2 more of this pace lap on board with Christian Steele.
Yep, sorry about messing up your name, Christian. See the light, he's already looking into the middle, trying to split this pack, going around the outside, and that's 1 move already. Down the inside, going to try to split it very tight through here, right behind the McLaren and the Ben & Jerry's. Almost makes contact right there. He's holding that inside line. He has the pace. You know he can get him on the exit, and boom, there it is.
See, getting closer to the yellow line, but you must stay clear of it, and then the caution comes out. And we are back to where we are. So yeah, of course the ideal line is staying as close as possible to that yellow line, but again, do not touch it. As Simon Bryant has disappeared.
I think he may be having a little bit of connection issues.
This is big news, of course, because he's the number 1 rated driver, and he's back. Bit of a scary moment for the number 1 rated driver of the room, as he disappeared.
Yeah, he had a great restart. He was starting in the second row, and he got a great restart. Jumped onto the inside of Hugo Olsen to take P2, where he is right now. He should be back, but he looks like he's having connection issues. Laura Gerhardt, not the best starts for her. Dropped down from 5th into 6th place. To McBride up in 5th. This is our good old friend Aaron Roofs.
New livery for this week. Maybe a night race livery. He's always very colorful. as the lights are still on the page. As behind we have, I'd say, a Zanardi tribute Montoya tribute livery there for Mark Edmonds. Beautiful. I love, of course. I had, the past is important, a die-cast model of Zanardi's 1998 car. Lost when I moved home many years ago. You know, when you move from place to place, you tend to lose some stuff, and that was the thing I lost in the moving. I was very young. You know, it was like 20 years ago. But you know, nevertheless, lights are out on the iRacing pace car. Therefore, Tim Doyle will lead the field. Of course, now it's not an issue, but later, Austin, especially if the drivers don't pit, restart on worn tires, because basically you restart while turning here at Iowa. It's basically you restart coming out of 4. It's not really a front stretch. Might be an issue for some drivers when they push the gas pedal down, and here we go.
Yeah, Tim Doyle puts Stahl down, and away we go racing. We saw Simon Bryant trying to get a good jump on him, but unfortunately he can't do it, and it's actually caused a kind of slinky effect for the rest of the field. But it's a clean restart up at front, and here on the backtrack, Hugo also trying to get back at Simon Bryant, holding down that inside line, but Simon holding that outside line, going up to the wall. Hugo also keeping his nose in there, but Simon just so more aggressive on the brakes.
Oh no!
Oh, what is
in the fence?
Oh, into
this
the
will
wall.
Be a caution 100%, and that car is destroyed. Such is the margin between winning and losing here in Richmond.
Oh, Hugo Olsen. We thought he was going to have the jump on to the backtrack, but he just got a little bit too happy on the throttle and just lost it back in. I thought he was going to save it, but then his car shot back in to the wall, and down he goes.
As I have been unmasked in the chat, someone is saying, this guy sounds Italian, and yeah, in Italian, so yeah, I mean, that was too easy, I'd say, but yeah. Caution is out, second of the day, and I think there will be no takers, apart from poor Hugo Olsen, but I think he has bigger problems on his end, Austin, because that car is not going anywhere soon.
Yeah, that car is missing a front nose, front wing, and a bit of engine cover.
And the driver now. There is no one sitting in the car.
He's out of the car. He's out of the car. I think he's looking at the replay or just waiting for it. But already 2 cautions in. We saw this happen at Las Vegas, actually, in our first season of broadcasting this. Where after this, it pretty much calmed out. After the race, people started thinking more, and it was met with a very long green flag run, which I'm predicting might happen this time. I believe the drivers are chatting. Everyone's getting less aggressive. It is a 160 lap race, but 13 laps already gone by.
Yeah, that's it, you know, because these are very, very quick laps, of course, goes without saying. The problem is that, not the problem, the reality is that every time we race around this kind of racetrack, and don't forget we will have Iowa later in the season, at the start of the race, it's usually like this. Everyone is anxious, everyone has been waiting for the entire week to go racing, but then usually, after the first 2 or 3 cautions to begin the race, everybody kind of settles down and starts to think about the long term. We'll see if it is like this in this race as well. That's usually what happens, as the lights should go out right now. No, we have 1 extra pace lap for good measure. I think it's one of those years where the racing has the extra pace lap in Richmond for no reason at all. Oh, so yeah, we might be in for a long one, Austin. Thankfully, it is quite early in Texas right now, so you have all afternoon, I'd say.
Yeah, all afternoon free here in the beautiful Lone Star State. Also, another Texan is in this lobby right now. He's sitting in 3rd. I'm going to be biased right now. It's Clark Archer from Texas sitting in P3. And a good driver as well. Unfortunately, last 2 races he's been in, he hasn't had the best results for the Apex Racing Group. It's a wonderful logo, but I must say.
Looks really cool, and I like this slightly metallic effect on his livery, especially on the red part. These liveries look so gorgeous, especially at night.
Oh yeah.
Too bad we don't have Mr. Kanginer tonight with his silver bullet Penske livery. Would have looked great under the lights, in my opinion.
Yeah, that livery is always a classic, and I look forward to it every week. Unfortunately, I can't see it, so I just put it on my car instead. As the pace car drives off, here we go. Back racing with Tim Doyle controlling the restart once more. Getting a good jump. It's Doyle, Bryant, and Archer, your top 3.
Let's see if anyone will be victim of the... Oh, I think we have a problem for Mark Edmonds.
Oh, yep. Car going slow. Mark J. Evans going slow. I think he may have got suspension damage. He may have tapped the wall on the exit. I don't see any problem with the steering. Let's right on board his roll bar, see if we can see anything. No, all the steering's fine. He may just got loose and got up into the wall, but he saved it, letting the faster traffic go around. But we are caution free on this restart so far.
Back at the front end for Clark Archer, now under big pressure as Christian Steele goes past Aaron Roofs. Still up to P11, now knocking on the doors of the top 10. Got in the wall.
Caution, big in the wall. That is
Michael Gannon.
In that Auto Nation car, hard into the wall. Car's still driving around, but I think he's going to tow back. Let's ride on board with Christian Steele. He was right behind us. Oh, he just crossed the yellow line. Oh.
See, from the victim's point of view, yeah, the yellow line strikes again, which is very unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate for Michael Gannon. His car is still running, but I think he may have teleported into the pits.
Let's see what happened to Mark Edmonds at the restart. Here we go. So I got passed on the inside there by Steele. Went a bit high, very high indeed. Strange mistake from Edmonds.
I didn't see any. I thought he originally hit the wall, but no, he just got off the line and had to lift off, and it was just very slow about that. Just very slow on that restart. But Mark J. Edwards, he's in the pits and he's out.
Yeah, with the first few takers. Also, I see number 14, Fred Fonseca. Robert Plumley also had a run through the pits as, of course, the traffic jam here. And more importantly, I see a wounded car there. I think Michael Gannon is trying to go around, do as many laps as possible. But if I am quite sure he has a meatball. If he doesn't, he's a very lucky boy because it means that he can get the rear wing replaced. But you know, it's going to be very dangerous for the other drivers to have him on track with in these conditions at the green flag, when the green flag drops. So let's see if he elects to pit or not. As we can see from our rear view camera, there are important pieces missing on his number 21 car.
Yeah, we looking at the pit times. Fred Fonseca has been in the pits 3 times. Robert Plumley has been in there for a 2nd time, keeping the tires fresh. But the guys up front, they have not gave up that ground because it's been a very a very not hard on tires so far race. We're 23 laps into it, and they've had about 8 laps of green flag racing.
As Michael Gannon is here, yeah, I mean, so far I wouldn't, unless you are way in the back, no point in pitting for fresh rubber, I'd say. Especially if you're at the front, track position, we know it's key. So he goes out. So the sides of the car look okay. I don't know about the suspensions, especially the rear suspensions, because he got a big hit there in the wall. But nevertheless, he should
bait
be.
this pace car out. Oh, look at that front left tire. That front left is not looking the best.
No, it's not. Look at that. Yeah, it's pointing a little bit sideways. Let's put it this way.
Yeah,
so
it might help him. It might help him, but he's certainly not complaining. We'll have to watch his restart. See if he's having any trouble with it. But as the pace car pulls off once again, Tim Doyle leading off the back, and here we go, back racing here at Richmond. It's a great restart for him. He completely caught Simon Bryant off guard. Move down in the inside ahead of Christian Steele. Christian Steele also looking down the inside of Andrew Burns. And it's looking like he can get it. Yes, he does. Christian Steele up 10 spots. He's in P9. And back on to Clark Archer and McBride. McBride looking down the inside of Archer, but thought about it. Didn't want to risk it this early.
He didn't go.
Oh, and there goes McBride. No damage, just a spin. All the drivers are slowing down. And McBride suffers from just a little bit too happy on the throttle. No yellow line, just way too much throttle on the exit.
Yeah, 100% correct. As we jump on board with him. Let's see. The smart thing, you see, guys watching at home, hard on the brakes the moment you spin. It's for your safety and the other driver's safety. Because it's much easier to predict the movement of a speeding car whilst it's holding its brakes. So, I mean, he gets 2 thumbs up from me.
And a great save as well, as we're seeing a lot of cars going into pits. Jeremy Boucher, Anthony Obortha, and Kevin Rory heading into pits 14th, 15th, and 17th. Oh, well, 15th, 16th, 17th, as I was saying that, all heading into the pits, all one after the other. So we'll see how these guys' tires are going to do. The biggest mover out of that, I would say, would be Robert Plumley, who's jumped up 6 spots, and he's in 15th right now. But Christian Steele, every restart, he's just been slowly moving his way up the field. He's now in 11th.
And he gained 11 positions. He's now in P8, apparently, with 11 places gained. And you are right, every restart he's gaining. He's still losing a rating in this race, but I don't think he cares too much about that. He's here to have fun. And, of course, racing with the I5G livery. So a teammate of AJ Burton, who is not with us tonight racing. But certainly that is one of the all-star teams in IndyCar competition, together of course with Power Slide, with Team Talent of course, and many other great teams that grace us with their fantastic drivers each and every Friday. Tim Doyle still leading the way. This is the toughest position to be, I think, in a race like this, Austin, because you know you have the pace, you know you want to pull away from your opposition, but every 2 or 3 laps, the cautions, they bunch up the field once again, and it's back to basics. You have to once again take a restart, and you know in the restarts, even if you're a great driver, things can go wrong in a hurry, and you never know if the driver behind you can have, in one of those restarts, a great jump, and then maybe all your good work is undone and you lose that position. So, tough position for the leader. He's holding on nicely as we can enjoy the beautiful Virginia sunset here over turn 3 and 4 in Richmond. As, of course, first race of 2020 here on Apex Racing TV, so hopefully you are enjoying the last few days of your holidays before going back to work and or going back to school, or you're already back to work. Doubt you're already back in school, because at least in Europe we start after the 6th, more Europe. Italy especially, after the 6th you go back to school, because we have a holiday on the 6th. But, you know, enough of that, because the lights are out on the iRacing pace car, and we are getting ready to go back racing once again. So Michael Gannon is still on track. Niall McBride is in P20, lost 14 spots. Of course, he elected to pit to check that everything was alright with his car. Of course, top up with the fuel and put some fresh rubber, because, you know, it's not ideal to do such a big slide on your wheels, on your tires, especially this early in the race. Ready to go back racing then?
Yep, Tim Doyle is getting the field ready to go, and here we go, back racing for the 4th time tonight. Have to check. Good restart. I'm pretty sure some of these drivers are going to be glad that they're back racing. I was seeing in the yellow flag that Aaron Roofs may have been a bit bored because he was typing in our chat during that one.
Here we go, Steele on Morgan.
Easy move for P7. Car ahead of him is the yellow car of Oliver Silva Barrera. And just here comes Christian Steele. Already closed up, a big puff of smoke from a car ahead. I think there may have been a lockup up the field. And, ooh, going wide, that is Matt Halle. And also Oliver going wide, and look at that. Christian Steele kept the line, and he's back on the inside, and Christian Steele's 2 spots up already. He's in P6.
There. Great move, Austin, and now, of course, Matt Halle will be next, as we have a wreck on the backstretch. All the brakes there, man. As Chad Anderson brings out the goal. Ouch.
That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Right on the pit entry line, too. And he's doing the Austin Powers 3-point turn right there. Thankfully, he's right ahead of the pit entrance, but oh, that's gotta sting. Is this the same one? Yes, it is. We've seen that incident 3 times tonight. This car is losing it off of turn 1, just putting in a little bit too much power, not having enough downforce on the front end and the back end to keep that car planted to the ground. Because you kind of go over a hump and the car goes weightless for a split second, and it just follows back with that turning input. And it's just so tricky. And then he just throttles up a little bit too quickly right there. He's still on track. I believe he's still on the same lap as Chris Taylor heads into the pits.
Taylor into the pits as the leaders still elect to stay out. As we have this beautiful livery here for the number 22 with all the clouds. And a nice driver suit.
Car. Oh yeah, it's the Ben & Jerry's car with a snake skin camo suit. Yeah, there's cows on the nose.
Well, on my car we have pigs, and of course he has cows. You know, you gotta love these, animal-themed liveries, so to speak. Quietly, Laura Gerhardt back into 4th place, of course, thanks to the demise, temporary demise, of course, of Niall McBride, who's now up into P15 after his pit stop, which was after his earlier mistake. A driver who is looking for some redemption is Mark Edmonds. After his mistake a couple of restarts ago, he went wide and got freight trained by a number of cars, sitting in P16. Mr. Robert. No damage. No, just went wide. It was, maybe he went wide and said, the smart thing to do is not force my car back into the inside line, because that would be bad. As Michael Gannon is here. Repair this car, but like you were saying, that front left looking not very good. And the lights are still on as we're in lap 41, almost 28 minutes of elapsed time here. As we are enjoying again now, well, sunset is still continuing in turn 3 and 4. The crowd, good crowd in end tonight, enjoying this racing. I have to say it's been out for now more than a year, but dynamic sky and clouds, etc. of racing really do add a sense of, let's say, immersion to these day-to-night races. Of course, Daytona coming up very soon, and if you want to race in the Roar before the 24, which has been unfortunately canned by iRacing, at Apex Racing League we are organizing our own version with the Radical, the Audi TCR and the MX-5 Cup car. You can head up to the Apex Racing League website or join our Discord, and you can find all of the informations, of course, on our Facebook page as well. All of the informations, the sign up form, the link, and all the rules, etc. So if you want to race the Roar before the 24, of course the race will be broadcasted by us, as we thank Turbo09s for gaming, for joining us, subscribing on Apex Racing TV on YouTube. Back to Green Flag Racing now.
Going back to green as pace car pulls off, and for the 5th time tonight, Tim Doyle leads him off as we're going back racing here at Richmond, otherwise known as America's premier short track Strawberry Hill and Action Track. All those names are very relevant, except for Strawberry Hill. I believe it. And another caution, and it's a multi-car wreck. In the background, I believe that is Kevin
I saw
Rory?
Michael Gannon stopped. Maybe other cars. Let's see.
This is another spin. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh. And there's nowhere to go, and woo!
Oh, was that Chris Taylor? No, it wasn't.
That may have been Chris Taylor.
Oh, Kevin Roy, I think. Let's see.
Yeah, it's Kevin Rory. Sees it hard on the brakes. Oh, gets to the back of the target car. And that was Michael Gannon as well. So 3 cars getting into it on the back straight here at Strawberry Hill. Oh, that's what. There is a Strawberry Hill on the outside of the track. That's why it's known as Strawberry Hill.
I didn't know this.
Well, every day you get to learn something else different, and I'm probably going to try to find a different fact for each caution now here at the Action Track. We're certainly getting a lot of it here at Richmond.
Well, I'm curious to see the damage on Mark Edmonds. I think just the rear wing, which can be fully replaced. Thank you, Racing. So it should be okay, as now Taylor comes into the pits from P13. I think he's using the strategy of pitting every time, which I absolutely subscribe to, especially in a race like this. But back at the front, everyone still deciding to not pit, as we enjoy a little bit of the view from the Apex Racing TV blimp. If you want to sponsor the blimp, well, we are available for enquiries. As we thank Alex van Krimpen for subscribing to Apex Racing TV on YouTube. Hopefully you are enjoying the show as well. I am so I cannot wait, Austin, for this race to get a good green flag run, because this track has potential for some amazing overtakes. Depending on the way you set up the car, especially now with the open setup, there is not a lot of aero push usually. So especially now at night, of course, there's a lot of grip available for these drivers due to the cooler racetrack, and I want to see these drivers square off in on track and not on pit road. but so far we have seen a lot of wrecked race cars and not much more. A couple of good overtakes, especially by the man Christian Steele, who passed 13 cars. Some of them on track, some of them eliminated themselves. And other driver who's trying to come back, like I said earlier, Niall McBride, now knocking on the doors of the top 10, sitting in behind the savvy ninja himself, Aaron Roofs, who came this close to winning last year's big one at Indianapolis. Ended with a big one, no pun intended, and I think that made the end of the year highlight reel for from Rest Fans the other day in the 2019 recap of the best and the worst of iRacing, or was it only the worst? I don't remember. Nevertheless, we made it, and we. Can I say I'm a bit proud of it? As we say hello to Charles Kellyman there in the race chat. Christian Steele is bored.
He's bored.
And he made 13 overtakes.
The field's bored.
Oh!
We're going back racing. It's caught us completely off guard right there. Let's see if Christian gets a little bit unboard as he's going to try to get Matt Halle right there. But look at Paul Morgan already pressuring Alvaro Silva Barrera for P7. Right on board Christian Steele right now. They're getting a little bit dicey up ahead. Clark Archer and Laura Gerhardt going side by side heading into turn 1. Laura Gerhardt backing off, a little bit of smoke off of the exit of turn 1.
That must be Bryant and his unstable connection.
It is.
Gerhardt.
Ooh, Gerhardt look for the move up the inside. Can she hold it off onto the inside, holding it?
Oh!
And, oh no!
Olibo! Caution is out.
Olibo
Everyone,
out.
You know.
And that is the 6th caution here today.
Doesn't matter if you are a great driver or a driver who's trying to make his way into IndyCar. This track is punishing everyone tonight.
Except for Tim Doyle's. Yeah. Except for the top 5. These guys in the top 5, Christian Steele, Gerhardt, Archer, Bryant, and Doyle.
Well, Olibo was in top 5 before this.
Emphasis on was.
And we have a caution, unsurprisingly. Let's see if the leaders select to pit this time around. No, they don't, even though I think the pit lane is still closed.
That is the 6th caution tonight. I am bringing out a counter so I actually remember how many we have at the end of the night. Because I believe this is a record for us.
We had a lot of in Las Vegas, but I think this is taking the cake so far.
I think we had 5 in Vegas. We just passed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Christian Steele has basically overtaken about 2 cars on track, but
I don't think that is true. I think I saw him make more moves than that on track.
I think that's just emphasizing how much he's actually done. I think he's just saying there's a lot of cautions right now.
Yeah. Well, it's taken us 36 minutes to do basically 55 laps.
Not even halfway done.
So I'll tell you what, let's bring in the scenic view and enjoy whilst we give you a recap of the weather conditions. As you can see, 9 miles per hour of wind, 80 Fahrenheit in the air, but the track, that's the important value, just 1 degree hotter, 81 Fahrenheit. So pretty much, I'd say, ideal racing conditions, Austin.
It is, and I got another fun fact for you. The first IndyCar race held at Richmond Raceway was October 12th, 1946. Ted Horn gained the distinction of winning Richmond Raceway's the first track win in a open-wheeled Indy-style car.
Track with a lot of history, this one. I think in real life they got rid of a couple of grandstands, which are still in iRacing but not there anymore. But apart from that, of course, that is, you know, sadly the level of fans that were coming to NASCAR and IndyCar and Champ Car for that matter in the, you know, late 90s, early 2000s are not you know, possible to replicate. So that makes sense to diminish the number of available seats to increase demand, so to speak. You know, the theory of scarcity, of course. But whatever the case,
I believe it's
still
on
one
the
of,
backstretch actually where they got rid of the
yeah.
grandstands and put in a massive video board in 2010, which was the largest LED board for motorsports at the time. I believe it's been taken over by the video board at Texas Motor Speedway.
Because everything is bigger in Texas, right?
Heck yeah.
Even in Italy, we know that that phrase.
I
Time to go back racing.
Yes, going back racing this time by. And we're going back racing. Tim Doyle in control of everything right now once again for the 6th restart of the night. Laura Gerhardt taking that inside line. Christian Steele around the outside of Laura Gerhardt. What a move by Christian. Up into 4th place. Kinduzzi and Paul Ferrer right behind Robert Plumley. And Paul looking down the inside of that McLaren of the Grip TV car of Robert Plumley, and he's going to jump up into 13th spot. And oh, Robert going very slow. And here's Matt Halle charging back up into 14th.
Another driver that will need to make a big comeback. They're at the front of the field. To go back to the front of the field, Matt Halle, of course. Niall McBride now is in 10th. So, and of course Christian Steele now knocking on the doors of the podium. P4 for him, just behind Clark Archer.
Yeah, Clark Archer leading out. We got a car going slow down the inside. That is Taylor.
Coming out of the pits, yes.
Yeah, Chris Taylor coming out of the pits. Also, Robert Plumley going very slow. Caution is out. Is that Taylor? It is Taylor. He must have spun. He must have spun going into the pits.
Oh!
Yellow line.
Ah.
Oh, and he got clipped as well.
Yeah.
7th caution of the night.
Kevin Roy, assuming he's from Quebec, we'll have to ask him, got involved in that. Let's jump on board with him, and you will see that car coming out of the pits. You know, he waited a bit too much to get out of the apron, and then he came out of the apron when the truck was already making the turn for 3 and 4.
Leaders are in the pits.
Leader in the pits, okay.
Doyle, Simon, Christian Steele actually stayed out, and he's going to retake the lead of this race. He's betting on it. Hasn't gone into the pits yet. 63 lap old tires in quotation marks. We've had 7 restarts.
Look who's staying out as well. Of course, he pitted very recently, I think, after the caution, Matolibo.
Lap 52.
McBride is pitting after his earlier mistake, and Doyle should winning the race out of pit lane in front of Bryant.
Clark Archer actually won it.
Clark Archer didn't stop.
Oh, well, that's why.
I'd say. I see pit count 0 next to his name.
Yeah, he didn't stop. I thought he did, but I'm guessing yeah, he didn't have the best restart. But we're going to see how Tim Doyle does in traffic here at Richmond on these fresh tires.
Did he miss his pit box?
Let's look for the number 4. There it is.
Yeah.
He just drove straight past it. He did miss his pit box. He did a drive-through. Because I saw the red and black car going into the pits, but that is very unfortunate for Clark Archer. I'm guessing it was just the fact that the pit stop was on the turn He just had nowhere to go for it.
You know, sometimes it happens, especially in a crowded pit lane like this, and in a short track like this. You come into the pits, then you're, you know, focusing not to get hit by not to hit or get hit by other drivers, because when you are entering the pits, the cars are actually solid, so you can make contact. And as we thank Captain Deadpool for subscribing to us on YouTube. Wow, we are making good numbers of subscribers who are, I think, enthralled by these caution laps. So good for them.
I got another Richmond fact. We're running underneath the lights, but the first race to run under temporary lights here at Richmond was in March 10th, 1964, was the first night race held at Richmond Raceway.
As you can see now, we have beautiful permanent stadium lights around the racetrack. Zach Mitchells is subscribing to us as well. Again, it might be the random facts more than the caution laps that are drawing in subscribers at a record rate tonight. As for the first time, we will have a different driver commanding the field at the restart. Christian Steele, in fact, the previous leader, and Leighton Cater is also subscribing. Wow! Thank you, guys. So Clark Archer in the end decided to not pit. Chris Taylor
also subscribing.
Yeah, Chris Taylor is waiting for his car to be repaired. So I say, you know what? Thank you, Chris. So Clark Archer said, interestingly, I'm not pitting, I'm staying out. So he will be a bit off strategy compared to these other drivers because he missed his pit box as we saw earlier. Time to go back to green flag racing, hopefully.
As a very early restart for Christian Steele, he tried to beat it with the pace car, and he does beat the pace car to the line, but it's a great restart for Christian Steele ahead of Matt Halle and Clark Archer. Tim Doyle, the first car, and Clark Archer's in the wall, and he's upside down!
He clipped the yellow line. No, he's not. I think he's in the catch fence. No, he's in the middle of the track. You are more
he's
than
back
right.
in the middle of the track. I do not believe he hit the line, but the Texan.
I saw him hitting the line,
in the row.
But I might be wrong. Let's see the replay. This will clear everything.
Yellow line. Hit the yellow line, overcorrected, got hit from behind, and is flipping all around in the middle of the track. All the cars able to avoid him, but who is that got into the back of him? It may have been Tim Doyle or Simon Bryant or Paul Morgan. One of these three cars hit him.
Or no one?
We need a TV view of this.
Maybe from the chopper we'll get a better idea.
Oh, no, it was no one. I thought for sure the angle of that car just flipping over would cause for another car to be hitting up, but nope. All the leaders have been clean. We'll see if Clark Archer... Oh, wait, that's right. Well, he certainly did pay the price for not going into the pits that last time by. We'll see what Christian Steele does this time for the 8th caution of the night.
As we are 9 laps away from the halfway point of this race. As now I think it's fully night out there. Let's see if there is still some light there in behind 3 and 4. But nevertheless, you can see the lights now. Yeah, no, it's just a smidgen of light left there in the clouds, but it is fully a night race now, and Christian Steele will have to lead the way for another restart, of course. Nothing, well, I would say no. Something major happened, of course, with the crash of Clark Archer, who has been there or thereabouts for the entirety of the race. Again, we didn't have a lot of green flag laps.
Yeah, but at least the night lights have been very well. And another interesting fact, the track operated as a half-mile oval through the spring race of 1988. During the spring and summer of 1988, the track was reconfigured to its current layout of 0.75 miles. The first race under the new configuration was in September 1988. These lights that we're racing under right now were added for the fall race of 1991.
Jumping on board with some of the drivers that are still on the lead lap. See McBride still in 9th, Andrew Burns and Oliver Silva Barrera from Sweden.
We actually got a interview ready with Mr. P2 right now with Matt Halle, if we want to go into the interview box right here.
Go ahead.
Hi.
Hey Matt, this is Austin in a commentary booth. Do you read me?
Yeah, I got you. We're 1 to green though, just FYI.
All right. Well, before we go to green, how are you feeling about this race so far?
It's been interesting. I spun and I'm currently in 2nd place, as you can probably see. Yeah, it's yeah.
All right. Well, I'm not going to hold you up with questions this much because you got 1 turn to go. Good luck on this restart, man.
Thanks, man.
That was Matt Halle, good chatting with him. An early restart by Christian Steele, and Halle, not the best restart. Tim Doyle almost getting into the back of him, actually. And look at Tim Doyle sneaking his way down the inside, right of that yellow line, and what a line he got on the exit, side by side. Doyle and Halle go. Halle holding that inside line, Doyle holding it around the outside, and Tim unable to get it as Matt Halle holds out for P2.
Oh, look at Paul Morgan coming in hot, just behind Bryant. 4-way fight for 2nd place.
Yeah, Halle went into the pits on lap 52. Tim Doyle on lap 63. Tim has the better tires, but Matt has the warmer tires as they're battling right now. And it looks like Matt is starting to pull away from Tim Doyle as the battle for 4th right behind him between Morgan and Simon is going pretty hot as well. Pretty much the battle for 2nd is lit.
You can see how sketchy everyone is coming out of turn 2. Absolutely, even if you don't touch the yellow line, it's a fine line between doing it right and clipping the wall on the outside.
Yeah, Tim Doyle, he's preferring that inside line. We got a car spun. That is Robert Plumley. Spun on the back straight for the 9th caution of the night.
Not much left of that car, to be honest. Strange crash.
In the wall.
Oh, he almost clipped. Oh, he almost collected our race leader.
Oh, Christian Steele almost getting collected by there. Must be breathing a sigh of relief right there.
Underwear change needed.
That reminded me of the 2017 Indy 500 crash with Scott Dixon, where he flew across the track and a car flew straight under him. But Matt Halle held off for P2, and now that we actually have a full-on caution, let's bring him back in.
I have no Oh, they called me back. Let me go. Hi. I was telling them that I was telling the race chat that you guys called me into the booth. Telling them what was up. Saying sorry to Tim for just kind of the crappy restart because I was still trying to get back into race mode from that. It didn't change anything though. This has been a weird race. How you guys doing up there?
Oh, we're doing good. We're reading off facts during the cautions and everything. This is the 9th caution of the night, and that was probably
we're at 9 now, guys.
Yeah, we're at 9. I got a clicker on me.
Yeah, I realized, you know what? We're having so much yellow. I might as well just go ahead and just hop into the interview waiting room and see what happens. As long as you guys don't pull me in during green, I have no issue with this. You're helping pass the time. Yeah. Earlier when I spun, that was a case of just a little bit too much weight jacker. I've done some setup work, setup changes when I made my pit stop. I seem to be good on fuel if things keep going well, so maybe that spin might actually help me. I genuinely, this has been a weird one.
Well, we just passed the halfway mark of
Woo.
this race, 52 minutes in. So at this race, at this rate, Christian Steele's prediction of this taking 2 hours is looking pretty fair.
Yeah, we ain't making it to the. None of us are going to be in the next race. None of the survivors are going to be in the next race.
I don't think I want to be in the next race. Usually I race in the one after it.
We're 2 to green, just FYI. Yeah. All I can do is laugh.
So setup-wise, you said you were doing a lot of setup work for this track. What is your plan for this track? High downforce, little rear end spinning, or what?
High downforce. So I'm full disclosure. I'm running the VRS set. I made some changes, of course. Like I always make changes to it, like gearing wise, a little bit of rear suspension. I softened the rear just a little bit versus the VRS set. And just to kind of keep the rear end a bit more planted. Clearly that didn't work with my spin off too that one time, but yeah, it seems to be working out so far.
All right, thank you. We're going to let you go by and prepare yourself on this last lap before we go green.
Alright, see ya in like 5 minutes, maybe, probably max.
Thank you, Matt. Once again, that's always the cheery Matt Halle, bro. Giving us a few good laps in the 9th caution of the night.
I want to enjoy this restart on board with Team Doyle, just for a change, so we can have a better idea of the leader and the pace car coming in. We need a pace car camera. Need to talk to Pascal, the guy that is behind the scenes for the beautiful graphics we have, stkgaming.co.uk.
As pace car pulls off, and once again, Christian Steele gets it on the restart with the pace car. And he's not fooling Hollowbro or Doyle at all. Doyle is actually still on the limit with Matt Hollowbro. I don't think he's actually lost any bit. He's actually gaining him on the exit. He's looking down the inside. Here it comes, Doyle on Hollowbro into P2, but on the exit, it's Hollowbro around the outside, holding it off.
Oh!
Paul Morgan in the fence in the middle of the track, and I don't think there may have been another car involved as well, but that is the 10th caution of the night.
I saw him spin from the rear view camera there that we were using. Oh, well, that is Niall McBride. How much damage does the driver from the UK and Ireland region have?
I don't think they have much. I believe it was just a soft tap. Didn't see any damage on the car, just woo, no damage. They made it through there quickly.
Driver is in the pits, Fonseca, and of course Paul Ferrer with his bright orange car, and sadly Paul Morgan is in, but I think he's there to stay. We are losing cars at an alarming rate as of late. We have, I'd say, 14 cars on the lead lap, more or less. Yes,
you know what? Yeah, we have about 14 cars really that haven't been involved. The person that's been in the pits the most has been Robert Plumley, in the pits for 8 times. Let's bring in our driver correspondent and see how he's holding up. Howdy, Matt.
Oh, they got me.
How was that restart?
I'm gonna tell you right now. I got Christian has such an advantage up front. Like Steele's, with how short this track is, you have to run a really low. You're required to run a very short first gear, which means lots of wheel spin. I'm running the tallest first gear available for this car. I believe it's geared for 109 miles an hour, if I remember correctly off the top of my head. But it likes to spin, especially with the current turbo boost package on IndyCar short tracks. A few seasons ago, they upped it from, I believe, 1.4 to 1.5 bar of boost. That really changed things. Wheel spin is a big factor. But he's got such an advantage. Like the moment the pace car pulls off to the moment the green flag comes out, he can do whatever he wants, and it's just I have to focus on wheel spin, whereas he's got an advantage there. So I'm just trying to, hold off Tim at this stage. My only hope is, Christian Steele still has not pit. As far as I believe he still hasn't pit.
Yeah,
correct.
He's been on these tires since the start.
Okay, so he's got, as long as I hold off Tim, Simon, Laura, Doyle, Bryant, Gerhardt, I should say last names, you're a broadcast. As long as I can hold them off, I feel like I got a decent shot. But like with Steele up front, like I have no real way of getting good restarts. I'm not particularly great at that. I don't hide that. That's a weakness of mine.
All right. Well, thank you, Matt, for your insight. Hopefully, this time by it will be better for the rest of us on the 10th restart of the night.
Jeez. All right. How you guys doing up there? Is it decent show for you guys? Yay?
Yeah, it's all right.
You can say no if you want. I won't hold a grudge.
I would say
it's
that with a
alright.
new damage model would have been even better.
Yeah. You
The
guys keep up the
sandwiches
good
are
work
pretty
up there.
good up here, I must say.
Keep up the good work up there, man.
All right.
We're going green.
That was Matt Halle. We also have Aaron Roof standing by. If we have another crash, we'll bring in the Savvy Ninja himself. And as Pacecar pulls off, that massive advantage that Cameron Steele has, once again showing itself. And Halle and Doyle once again battling. Doyle looking for that inside line. He's got a good run as Halle almost gets into the wall. Doyle side by side with Halle, but Halle on that outside line has been absolutely flying inside. But Doyle, he's got his nose in there. Also, look at Simon Bryant in P4.
Oh, Doyle!
Big wiggle. And Halle took it as they're going 2 wide, almost 3 wide. Halle taking back P2, and now here comes Simon Bryant looking to take P3 from Doyle's grasp. Doyle's risking it all, almost getting to the side. Simon Bryant has to lift off, and Simon swinging around the outside. There's smoke up ahead. I believe that just may have been of a connection to, and Doyle, he's falling down the field. Simon Bryant takes P3. I think that wiggle from Tim made him reconsider on how aggressive he was being, and he's adjusting his weight jacker so he's avoiding that issue.
So in the end, Matt Halle went, I think, this close to the wall, like paper width, to the wall, but he didn't hit the wall because his car is looking absolutely fine, trying to pull away from Simon Bryant. And now we have maybe the ingredients are there for our first proper green flag run of the race.
Look at the battle for 10th place between Fred Fonseca and Anthony Obortha. Fred looking down the inside. He's got that bottom row down, and he's got a good old run heading into turn 2. Does not make the move happen as Anthony holding it off for P10. It's a beautiful Rolling Stones livery car, I must say. As a huge fan of the Rolling Stones, I dig it. Back up front to Simon Bryant ahead of Tim Doyle. Simon's actually been very quiet in this race. Went wide this time by. Here comes Tim Doyle, who had the apex. Christian Steele is so far ahead. Second and third place are just... Oh, Hollebro spun! Hollebro spun!
I think he got the wall, man.
I think he got the wiggle. This is identical to his wiggle for the 11th time tonight. We are under caution here at Richmond, Virginia.
Rear wing is completely destroyed there, or very much destroyed. Let's get a replay.
It is the wiggle. It's that bump. It's just a rear wing hit. I don't see any major suspension damage. He hit that pretty much square on. But he
That left
is
rear doesn't look good, you know?
Oh yeah, it is a bit squinty, as some
Steele.
might say.
In the pits,
Hey!
Brian stays out.
Christian Steele finally heading into the pits. So in this one, let's bring in Aaron Roofs. See how his race been going.
Just like it's hard to get in a rhythm.
Howdy, 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 Aaron. How are you doing?
Good, I guess I'm still in the race, so that's a good thing.
You're up 8 spots where you qualified currently. You're sitting in P4 actually. With all these cautions, 11 now. How you feeling about the race?
I just haven't pushed anything the entire race. I've really just been kind of holding back and seeing how it's all shaking out. But decided to make a move here and not pit because I think it might go green pretty soon here. So all the way.
All right, put in a little bit of prediction magic for us. You changed your livery for tonight. Is this a special night race livery, or did you just change it for this week?
I just changed it for this week. You know, I'm creative person, so I like different things. So maybe I will just have one different every couple weeks or something like that.
Well, I believe Marco and I are big fans of it.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's great. I appreciate that.
And I like the idea of changing liveries every race or so. Like, big thumbs up. Makes things interesting.
I'll remember that. Thank you.
All right.
So how's the broadcast going for you guys? A lot of air to fill.
A lot of reading of facts of Wikipedia.
Well, hopefully we can give you a good finish here in the last 50 laps here, whatever. So
Yeah, 55 laps remaining. You have a good restart, man. And we'll see you hopefully at the end of the race.
sounds good, guys.
That was Aaron Roofs, also known as the Savvy Ninja himself.
Lapped car in front of the leader. That is, I think, Kevin Hoa. Yes. He is a bunch of laps down, but he will get one back. So, good for him.
Yeah, he's definitely going to get one back. He's going to get a wave round next time by, well, Kevin Rory. Simon Bryant, Tim Doyle. We're going to see how these two do the restarts. We've seen Tim wait for a part of the line, and then he goes. Christian, he just shot it at the pit as soon as the pace car went into the pits. We'll see how Simon Bryant handles the restart now.
Let me see. Since we are under caution, let me go and check if Kevin is from... oh, he's from Quebec, so I was right. He's Kevin Hoa, is the right pronunciation of his name. Thank you, Ice Hockey, for teaching me these things. Okay, time to go back racing for the 10th, 11th time. But, you know, we are getting back. Oh, the leader. No. This is the worst thing that can happen. Simon Bryant was blinking there. But here we go.
Pace cars off it for the 11th restart of the night. Here goes Simon Bryant controlling the restart of the field. Great restart by Paul Farah, but Aaron Roos, he had not the best restart, but he snipped through the middle of there as Christian Steele is holding down the inside line of Paul Farah.
A big chaos there. Ferrer came from out of nowhere just like he was shot out of a cannon. Almost hitting the wall in turn 2. He had such massive momentum. Here comes Steele on his inside.
Steele holding down that inside line. Paul holding around the outside, but Christian Steele on those fresh tires, making it look easy in that black, dark as night car.
See, McBride went for the move on the Spaniard, but thought better about it. Let's jump on board with him.
He's right on board with McBride.
Oh, he passed him. Okay, with the DeLorean style, Back to the Future style, as Steele goes past Roofs.
Yeah, Steele on Roofs looking pretty easily. We were talking to Roofs earlier. He said he wasn't going to be pushing that much harder as we're looking at Fonseca. Fonseca, one of the more active cars in the pit lane, making it look easy down the inside of Andrew Burns.
You know what? Something we haven't done tonight. The speedometer.
I've been traveling not that fast, looking at on an average speed about of 40 miles an hour, I think.
Oh, big smoke there. I think it says the connection issue. I think it's Bryant there. Oh, you know, the leader has such a massive advantage because now it's Bryant that's pulling away from Tim Doyle as McBride disappears for a second and then reappears. Let's see, from the back end of the Savvy Ninjas car, Aaron Roofs. Must be so difficult to defend, especially on the ovals, or to attack for that matter, when the car next to you is appearing and disappearing.
Yeah, it's very scary, especially if you see it in your mirrors as Christian Steele goes around the outside of Laura Gearhart. 13 cars on track right now. But funny thing is, all of our cautions have been single car mistakes. Not the contact between the cars. They've all been single driver mistakes. So it's not the battle that's making the restarts happen. Sure, it may just be guys just getting very itchy on the throttle and spinning out of turn 2. It's more of a driver patience. And I believe we are currently on our longest green flag run of the race.
Simon Bryant get into traffic, car in the fence.
No
We stay
caution.
green.
He has not crossed the yellow line. No caution. Little bit of slow up from the car ahead. Tim Doyle is going to pass him easily as our two leaders of Bryant and Doyle are going on. And that car is towed to the pits. We're still green.
Yes. And to see, it was Mark Edmonds, if I am not mistaken. And of course now the lap traffic will play a part. With Simon Bryant, you see now he's got two drivers in front of him, Ferrer and Obroda. So Ferrer, after his great restart, has dropped down a bit. And of course, traffic management, we talked about it, it's going to be a big part, especially because now, Austin, look at this, we have a three-way fight for the race lead.
Three-way fight for the race lead, and coming into lap traffic, this is where Richmond Raceway gets the name, the action track. It's going to get pretty wild right here. We see Bryant going down the inside of that lap car. Lap car getting it away, and Tim Doyle getting the draft to him as well. And he's not getting out of the way for Tim Doyle, not giving that much room. Here comes Christian Steele, not waiting for the next corner. He's going to get a big old run onto Tim Doyle right here. And he's got a big old run heading into the back straight onto the second oval. And here comes Christian Steele for P2, holding down the inside line on Doyle. It's Steele and Doyle side by side on the back straight. They're still side by side as Bryant is going to have to go the long way around the outside, and Steele is still racing with Doyle.
Oh no,
Doyle goes into the side of Steele. Big old crash out turn 1. The lap car holding that inside line. Christian Steele nowhere to go. Doyle didn't see the lap car and it just went into the side of Christian Steele. See how aggressive Doyle is. Christian giving him as enough room as he can. That lap car though, holding down the inside. Nowhere for Christian to go. Doyle nowhere to go, and the lap car then spins out on the exit.
Which I think it was the car that spun earlier. Just in
Yes,
front of
it
the
was.
leaders, which didn't go back to the pits then, so we were mistaken. Yes, there we go, you should see the leader come back. Oh, he had rear wing and front wing damage. Here come the leaders somewhere, yeah, that was Steele. And yeah, then this happened as now we have big party in the pits with Gerhardt, McBride, Barrera, Roofs, Fonseca and Obroda. Ferrer will stay probably out. same as Bryant and Steele, but of course Ferrer is one lap down as of this moment, so pits are closed for the McLaren driver.
Yeah, Simon Bryant, Christian Steele, and Andrew Burns, your new top three. Very unfortunate for Tim Doyle. He's probably going to be raging at that lapped car right now on why he didn't go into the pits and why he's just out there on the inside of the line. I can see a few of our viewers not very happy about that incident. I'm pretty sure a lot of drivers were not, because that was the longest green flag and the first first collision caused incident of the night.
Yes, absolutely. You are right, I think.
Can we go on board with Christian Steele? He might have some damage.
Let's go on board with Mr. Steele. That was a big hit there around. Let's see if I can see some side of the car. Seems okay, at least from this picture.
Nah, I can see his side pod a little bit bent out.
Tell you what, let's go on board with Tim and see the crash once again. Man, how close can you get?
Boom. A little bit of netcode, and hard into the wall goes Doyle. Nowhere Christian Steele could go, nowhere Doyle could go. The lap car just, unfortunately, was the reason that this incident has happened. I think if you look at the wing from that last angle, it does have a little bit of a bend.
Yeah, you might be right. Steele is selected to stay out, and so he will have to deal with this. If he has damage, he will have to, in a short track, it's not the end of the world, but still with these cars, you want to keep them as clean as possible,
Yeah, I don't think he really does have a lot of significant damage that is actually going to impact him that much, because you're going to have to inspect it as hard as you can to see it like we are.
I'm trying. The floor seems okay, which is a good beginning. A good starting point. Sadly, we have the catch fence in the way, so it's tough to. And of course, this car is black as night, so. I mean, we have a trick. There is when you are driving and you don't know under caution you are in the pits. There is a trick, which I do is to refresh the paint to see when the car is all white. But it doesn't look good on a stream, So I will refrain.
Let's not do that. Let's not do that.
I mean, those are the bottom split tricks for drivers like me who crash often. Are we going green? Yes, we are.
Good restart from Simon Bryant. Going immediately as Steele's his second, followed up by Andrew Burns.
Oh, there's someone on the inside. Yeah.
Oh, that was
Out of
Oliver
nowhere.
Silva
Ooh.
Pereira, as well as McBride getting the snipe on Andrew Burns. Back from the top of Simon Bryant's car, Christian Steele getting a good old run down through turn 2. The car that didn't qualify base over the field, big old 3 wide on the front straight. Gerard's got a show in front of her. That's Aaron Bruce and Fred Fonseca going side by side. Fred down the inside, Aaron around the outside. But it looks like it's going to be Fonseca into turn 1
for
P6.
the lead.
And now Christian Steele and Simon Bryant having a good old fight for the
terrible
lead.
exit.
Getting to the wall. And here comes Steele down the inside. We have a new leader of the Richmond race. It is Christian Steele. Also, Dale McBride has moved up so much during this race after that unfortunate incident they've had They're going down the inside. They're going to try to take P2, heading into turns 1 and 2 onto the back straight. They've got a good exit. Neil McBride is into P2.
Fantastic stuff there as Roofs and Gerhardt are still going at it. You know, all of a sudden, Austin, we only have 22 more laps of this, so it's getting into crunch time for these drivers. And look at Bryant is really struggling now. Oliver Silva. Well, no, you know, I was about to say a profanity. Of course he's struggling. He last stopped on lap 63, did Simon Bryant.
Yeah, those tires, with the amount of green flag running we've been in, he is on the oldest amount of tires, and he is on the oldest amount of tires of the cars still running right now. So he is struggling for grip and wishing another caution goes out, but the rest of these drivers do not want a caution go out because it is a free place in case he doesn't have to stay, in case there is, as Possessed is going to have to go wide, because here comes Laura Gerhardt down onto the inside, sneaking her way into P6.
Oh!
And oh, there's a spin!
Go, Sean!
13th of the night. Andrew Burns out of turn 2 into the wall.
Man,
And that has given Simon Bryant a big old sigh of relief, as he's going to definitely need to come into the pits.
If I am Bryant, I am making a beeline for the pits as soon as they open, which I think will be the next time by. And this will basically give us... I think they are already open, as a matter of fact.
Yes, they are. What is this pace car doing?
You know, pace car, you know, it's the oldest joke in the racing world, but you know, the pace car is basically leading the race. You know, he is the most laps led today. But yeah, Bryant is in. And so are Fonseca, Obroda, Roofs. Burns, I think he only spun. Let's have a replay of that.
We've been under caution for 52 laps today. That's almost half. That's almost yeah, about, yeah, it is almost halfway.
We have no replay of the crash, unfortunately. Or maybe we do, let's see. We do.
I'm sorry if I'm laughing a little bit, but we see this hit. I'm laughing at our chat. Dakota Dolphin has been posting the interesting facts for me. As I was trying to keep it relative to the racetrack, Dakota's just going worldwide, and I don't know why. It just made me laugh. But New Zealanders have more pets per household than any other country. Thank you, Dakota.
And you know, here at Apex Racing TV, especially in the IndyCar booth, we love our dogs. So.
Oh yeah, you have a very attack dog. How big is he?
She weighs 2.5 kilos, which I will do the translation for those of you who don't use the metric system.
About 5 pounds.
5.5 pounds.
Yeah, your dog apparently is a quote attack dog according to you, and my 90-pound collie is the biggest cuddly dog in the world, and he's not vicious at all. He's actually my profile picture on Discord.
Well, my dog is on my helmet in iRacing, so if you happen to find me racing around, say hello to my dog on my helmet.
If you see me racing a supercar, a Australian V8 supercar, you can say hello to the 4 quokkas on the back of my car.
So, is it legal to have a quokka as a pet in the United States?
I don't know, because I just found out what a quokka is not like 1 month ago.
Lights are out on the iRacing pace car. It's going to be 14 to go, if I'm not mistaken, when we restart.
Yeah, we will have 14 laps to go. Out of the 13th restart of the night, it's Christian Steele Leading out Neil McBride, Oliver Silva Barrera, Laura Gerhardt, Simon Bryant, Anthony Obortha, Aaron Roos, Adrian Burns, and Fred Fonseca. Your top 9 cars all on the same lap. 12 cars out on track right now. The pace car coming out of turn 4. Here comes Cram Steele for the 13th restart of the night. Very clean restart by all these drivers. We got a few battles going on track right now. Simon Bryant and Laura Gerhardt making it very tasty for the battle for P4. Coming out of turn 2, Simon Bryant's all over the gearbox, and Laura Gerhardt is trying to sneak up the inside. A little bit of contact. Laura
In
Gerhardt
defense.
goes on the sheets of the cat's fence.
Caution.
Very aggressive move by Simon Bryant. Very unfortunate for Laura Gerhardt. She was so consistent this race, and she's towed back into the pits. 14th caution of the night. This is a big hit too. Second car-to-car collision of the night as well. And I believe that will bring us to a restart with, almost a big incident. Collision was right on board with Paul Ferrer, sitting in 9th place. Last car on the lead lap.
Man, another underwear change. I think we've had
Good round.
so important for the drivers now, because even though I don't think they were a factor, but now by the rule book, since we have 10 or less laps to go, all the lapped cars will be sent to the back of the field at the restart.
Yes, the lap cars are going to be sent to the back of the field. This is going to be a very interesting restart like we've had at Indy 500. It's not going to be a one-lap shootout. It's going to be I believe a 6-lap race to the finish if we do not have another caution. If we do have a caution, we might have another one-lap shootout on our hands.
And we know usually how good they end one lap shootouts in this series. Especially we have had we have had a green-white checkered, I think, technically,
At Vegas.
At Vegas,
We had
and a one lap shootout at Indianapolis.
Yeah, this is going down into another shootout as well. And Dakota Dolphin is posting about Dolphins now in the chat.
Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins, Miami Dolphins #1. Yes, I'm a big
In
fan.
tanking.
In tank. Oh, we did beat the Patriots. Come on, man. We did humanity a big favor the other day. Give us that at the very least.
Not giving it to you. No, I can't really say much. My team didn't make the playoffs.
Lights should be out on the pace car right about now.
Excellent prediction, Marco.
One more lap of pacing. Oh yeah.
So, Christian Steele, he's definitely bored. He's trying to get inside the pace car. I did this in an Indy Oval race. I just did all the pace laps inside of the pace car.
It's nice to, have a chat with the pace car driver and hear that beautiful note of the Mustang engine and see him fight with his wheel all the race long.
He's a very aggressive driver, I must say, the pace car driver. But I believe we will have. This will be the last pace lap before Christian Steele takes charge. The lights have gone out. Ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to say this is the last caution of the night because I've commentators cursed us so bad before. But 14 cautions in. And on the 14th restart, will this be the final restart of the night? Can Christian Steele run away with it ahead of McBride? Steele last went into the pits on lap 102. McBride went into the pits on lap 126, as well as Oliver Silva Barrera. Simon Bryan in P4. 142, the freshest tires in the field. The hands are in Christian Steele, and he puts the pedal to the metal. We're going to race in here at Virginia with 5 laps to go. He's got a good restart as...
Oh, big wreck!
Bro had a big crash at the exit of turn 2. 3 cars involved. Andrew Burns involved. Fred Fonseca involved as well. We saw them already going too wide on the exit. There's Aaron Roots around the outside, but he touches the yellow line and nowhere to go for Fred Fonseca. And that third car was Edmonds again. So 15th caution of the night. We're gonna have a 1-lap shootout. This is gonna be a 1-lap shootout. Or this might end under caution.
It's going to be close. Will we see?
It's gonna be 1 lap. It's gonna be 1 lap.
We'll see. We'll have to keep our fingers crossed and see what happens here. As another wreck leaves us with this very late caution. I think that we should go back to racing, but it's going to be very, very close. The pace car picked up the drivers quickly, but of course it will have to bring the lapped cars back behind the cars on the lead lap, so who knows what might happen. We'll have to keep an eye on those lights, and that's why we are on board with Christian Steele, of course. Not this time around, it's impossible, but we need to have the lights out on top of the pace car by the next time we go on the start-finish line, Austin. Otherwise, it is curtains, and Christian Steele will win the race.
Yeah, and Christian Steele, he's been having the best advantage on the restarts, as we've heard from Matt Halle, bro. He's running that extremely short first gear, and he's just getting the absolute smack dab on point restarts here at Richmond Raceway. And that's pretty much cemented the win for him if he just got to nail the restart, because he nails it immediately as the pace car pulls off. If McBride tries to predict it, they can beat Steele going down the inside as they hit the straight line. That's the only chance, as the pace lights are still on. And no, it's going to go off this time, and then it's going to be over. This is lap 159. Next lap is going to be 160, and then they finish it.
But I think the race is over, like there will be no more racing, sadly. Which is a big middle finger that this race has given all of us in the commentary box.
It is.
And the viewers, because at least when you have a lot of crashes, usually it builds towards a big one-lap shootout, but not this time, as the white flag will be in the air on top of the start-finish line, and this will mean that Christian Steele has won this race. There will be no more green flag racing, sadly, so congratulations to Christian Steele. Brings home the victory after gaining 18 places. Niall McBride, second place for him, great comeback as well. And I have to say, a bit out of nowhere, but a great podium nonetheless for Oliver Silva Barrera, who finishes in third place. Really a big surprise name, and he brings home a good podium. And Brian Tinford, another great surprise. Antonio Broda, usually driving a lot in the fixed series, finds out a good top 5 with the Roofs just behind him in 6th, and Burns still running around despite missing some key components in his car, but I think he has been disqualified.
Oh, meatballs. And as these drivers are lining up for a little parading finish, it's Steele taking the victory, and I think he's traveling to do some donuts on the infield. Or he's waiting for the rest of the drivers. There we go, see some donuts from Steele. Oh, we're going to have the Polish victory
lap.
for Christian Steele. Congratulations, Christian. Moving up from 18 spots, crashed in qualifying, and taking the win here at Richmond, Virginia. Christian Steele takes the win, followed by Neil McBride, Oliver Barrera, Simon Bright, Anthony Orbrotha, Aaron Roofs, Andrew Birds, Fran Fonseca, Paul Ferrer, Mark J. Edmonds, Kevin Roy, Laura Gerhardt, Tim Doyle, Matt Olabro, Paul Morgan, Robert Plumley, Clark Archer, Chris Taylor in 18th. He's followed up in P19 by Michael Gannon, Chad Henderson, Jeremy Boucher, Hugo Olsen, Ken Suzuka, Raul Gunn, and Franz Van Megellen, who didn't start this race, but you can see the long list of drivers that didn't finish. That was a very long race. Let's bring in the man who crashed in qualifying, moved up 18 spots through the grid, and just controlled every single restart right then. 15 cautions in the book. Cameron Steele, how was that race?
It was interesting. I mean, we had to strategize there because basically my strategy point was figure out what kind of race we were going to get there the second half of the race, and I had to figure out when to pit there. And
yeah, speaking of pits, you pulled out a one stop in an IndyCar race of 160 laps. You went to the pits on lap 102, and on that final restart, the 14th caution, I thought you might have been in a little bit of trouble from McBride.
yeah, I knew at that point, like, if Niall had a long run on me, Niall would have been able to get by me, but I knew pretty much you have to be very methodical passing here, and I just didn't think he was going to be able to string up multiple laps together at that point in the race. With the amount of cars we still had left, it just didn't make sense to me. I didn't think he was going to be able to get by with the amount of cautions and everything happening, so I was happy where I was at that point.
Yeah, we saw you in the chat typing while driving your board. I believe a lot of other drivers too were as well. We were actually having a few in-race interviews. Actually, let's bring it to caution with you and Tim Doyle with the lap car of Mark J. Edmonds. Bring us through what happened.
Yeah, so I mean, Tim and I were in the midst of battling, and for me that was the most important thing for me to do at that point in the race, was to get by Tim as soon as possible, because I knew that I just had to take advantage of my fresh tires. So, I mean, we were side by side there, and normally the lap car would yield to the top of the track, and if they do yield to the bottom, I'm not sure why they would run at that speed they were running. So, I mean, I knew I had to shadow high, because if I didn't go a little high, I would have ran right into the back of him. And I think really it comes down to me and Tim both wanting the same real estate, you know, knowing how important track position is, how important that battle was for the race. It was just a really unfortunate incident.
Yeah, it was certainly a very scary incident, very unfortunate for Tim and you as well, because we were very entertained by your battles throughout the race. You moved 18 positions up on track. I believe about 7 of those were actually made during green flag running. Favorite move of the race?
I would say that pass on the outside. into turn 3 over Laura was pretty sweet. Just because normally it's kind of hard to make a stick around there, but my guys made sure we had a really good setup. I could pretty much do anything out there with the car I had.
You looked pretty much in control, especially on the restarts. We were talking with Matt Halle, bro, and you just launched away from it every time. You said you had restarts locked down to a T. Well, we're going to end this right here, but before we let you go, anyone you want to thank?
Yeah, I just want to thank the guys at i5G, Broken Arrow, and Apex. All those guys, we've been working together, and we had a really good setup for Elite, and that transferred over really quickly with the setup. So, got to thank those guys for giving me a good car.
All right. Once again, congrats on the win, Christian. We will see you next week, right?
Hopefully, we'll see.
All right. You take care, man.
Thanks.
That was our race winner, Christian Steele. As we are done with the interviews, because we pretty much handled all of them throughout the race, and I believe drivers just want to get on with their day right now. Marco, any closing aspects? Any closing thoughts?
I mean, it was a tough race for everyone, drivers especially. Thank you for everyone who wanted and decided to join us tonight. I know it's Christmas period, holiday period, etc. But if you still want more racing, and after tonight, why not? Of course, tomorrow we will be back on the iRacing Esports Network at 22 GMT. So you don't want to miss that, of course, for another official series. It's going to be the Formula 3.5 Championship on the Esports Network, live from Indianapolis road course. So thank you for joining us, and of course, Austin, thank you for bringing your expertise about Richmond in the booth tonight.
I have facts for days about Richmond. It's called Wikipedia. Thank you. Shout out to Wikipedia for the endless facts. Thank you, Marco, for the cameras. Thank you for all the viewers watching. I've been joined by Marco Bombner. I'm Austin Knight, and I hope y'all have a great night.